This is short story, Ghost of Tomorrow. Enjoy it. Chapter 1. It was dark. Moska stood by the open window. Striz approached her. What are you doing? Standing, breathing the stale almody air. At least you're breathing it. I'm coughing on it. Don't fuss. Soon none of this will matter anyway. In the silence her laugh sounded desperately sad. Striz hugged Moska, and even in the darkness he saw, felt, how she was trembling. How much time is left? About 7 hours, Striz replied, glancing at his watch. And how long does it take to get to your estate? An hour by car, then half an hour on foot into the mountains. Are you completely insane? And you want to die in our tiny one-room apartment? Seriously? Moska turned to face her husband. Reflections of yet another fire raging outside the window danced in his eyes. You're obsessed with that estate. Whose is it, by the way? Voznesensky's. There was such a merchant and smuggler in the Tsarist Empire. His mansion is in the mountains. I found it myself. It's been abandoned for about 200 years, since the collapse of the empire. But it's preserved perfectly. It seems no one but me has ever seen it. Come on, Moska, isn't it cool to meet the end of the world in a place like that? To be honest, Moska didn't care where she and her husband would turn to dust. The meteorite would cover the whole planet anyway. She didn't care. What difference did it make? Death was inevitable, and it was close, breathing icy calm into the back of her neck. Inevitability. It doesn't matter where you croak. But Striz lit up with this idea of the rich man's dacha. A feast during the plague. A last attempt to feel significant. Well, apparently, this is love probably. To hell with you, history lover. Half an hour to pack, say goodbye to the place, and hit the road. We'll have about 5 hours to live it up at your estate. You're my sunshine. Even in the darkness, Moska saw, felt, Striz's satisfied smile. They packed in 20 minutes. Without hesitation, they got into their hover. Did you take the blasters? Do you think I'm an idiot? Of course I took them. Almaty greeted them with dark streets, no streetlights at all, only fires, bonfires, and devastation. Who's setting all these fires? Striz said irritably. Do people have nothing better to do? 7 hours till the end of the world. They should be sitting at home hugging their loved ones, said the weirdo, driving through the whole city to an abandoned mansion. Touch, baby. Moska glanced at him. Do you realize you're an idiot? Do you realize your husband is an idiot? They laughed. Then they drove into a crowd of some kind of vagrants. The hover was attacked. They had to shoot back. Moska, without hesitation, killed 2 people. And what's the difference? To hell with humanity. Whether these poor souls die now or in a couple of hours. At least there's less agony. Why the hell did people invent lasers, blasters, flew to Mars? And they can't get rid of a damn meteorite. The girl raged after the shootout. Her husband was maneuvering around the abandoned cars on the road. They were already outside the city. There was very little left to reach their destination. Sweetheart, it's about something else entirely. Human ego, Striz explained. They made the smartphone, cool. Then someone wanted a newer one. They built a hover, and someone needed a bigger hover. In the end, so many smartphones, so many cars, so many blasters. And then, bam, the end of the world comes, and there's nothing truly necessary at hand. Just idiots. By the way, last night before sleep I read the news that supposedly when all those governments found out about the meteorite a month ago, they wanted to blow it up immediately, but couldn't decide who would do it. Russia, America, China, or all together. Then they thought about sending astronauts to blow it up on sight. Like in the damn Armageddon? Yeah, but they figured it wasn't profitable and would take too long. Imagine, they were still thinking about money at that moment. Striz smirked, stopping the car. All right, we've arrived. From here on foot. In the darkness, Moska couldn't even make out the road to Boyar Voznesensky's mansion. But she did appreciate the fresh mountain air filled with the scent of pine. Then there was a narrow gorge and into a huge clearing. There's a hectare of land here. The mansion's right in the center, Striz said from the darkness as they pushed through the thickets. You won't find this place on any map. Even from a drone, it's barely visible. Neither stalkers found it, nor did hobos settle here. Why? The mountains block it. The forest is dense. The road is completely overgrown. Their flashlights snatched mountain boulders, spruce branches, or simply drowned in the darkness. At last, they reached the house. Here Moska had to admit the grandeur of the building and say wow. The beams clung to columns, stairs, large windows, the second-floor veranda gallery. It's even cooler inside, Striz announced triumphantly, watching his wife's jaw drop. Moska truly was stunned by what she saw inside. The luxury of the imperial mansion had been preserved almost in its original state. Candelabra, stucco, carved furniture. A real boyar's mansion. After a short tour, Striz began preparing a place for cozy sitting. He tidied up, arranged the furniture, even lit the candles he had brought. It even turned out romantic. Moska unpacked the backpacks, took out blankets, sandwiches, a thermos with tea. No point in dying on an empty stomach. Striz turned on music on his smartphone. First Morchiba. To the melodic vocals, the girl asked, "Who was that merchant Voznesensky?" He was more of a smuggler. Sold goods both to infidels and to the Tsar, and after the revolution, helped both the Reds and the Whites. Earned his fortune nicely. Yeah, Striz agreed. There's always more to earn. A house, a dacha, peasants. That's what a rich man is for. And here we are bathing in this luxury now. Moska ran her hand over the oak tabletop. For someone, we're not poor either. Yeah, the middle class strives higher. The poor want to reach us, and the rich want to prolong all this. Like that Voznesensky. And that's exactly where the snag is, sweetheart, Striz said instructively, sitting beside his wife. He himself and his entire family vanished mysteriously. According to legend, it had to do with smuggling. But there's also a belief that it was connected to the boyar's son. The boy was sick, and the parents desperately searched for a cure. Maybe they just left for Europe, leaving all this behind? Moska swept her gaze around the grand living hall. Who the hell knows? Creepy. And you're telling all this under such a mournful soundtrack, Striz smiled. Morchiba changed to Morgana King. Even better. And more seductive, Striz smiled and pressed himself to his wife. Seducing me before the end of the world? Moska smiled sweetly. She wanted warmth, his warmth. You're doing the right thing. They stood up. A slow dance. Smiles. Languid music. Passionate sex on the blankets. It hadn't been this good in a long time. Is the end of the world affecting us, or what? Moska thought. Then they had a snack of sandwiches. Striz put on a new song. And to the melancholic words of Mumi Troll, "Hello, ghosts of tomorrow," the boy and the girl once again decided to walk around the mansion. Look what an interesting book, Striz called Moska. Looks like a diary. Moska approached. Striz found the book in a far room, something like a study. There was an entire library of half-decayed volumes here. But the diary was perfectly preserved. Striz opened it. The last entry, he said, very short. June 25th, 1919. Natalia and I have no strength left. If the advice given by that Tengrian shaman does not work, then our Yashinka is doomed. The illness is taking its toll. But Natalia and I pray that the ritual will work. Creepy stuff, Moskva shuddered. Then there's a text in some devil knows what language, something like Proto-Kazakh Turkic, but here's a Russian transcription. Striz, but the guy began to read. Imdu, Omir, Zindanu, Olam, something like that. Moskva didn't like it. To hell with this nonsense. Let's go back to the living room and the music. And so they did. Chapter 2. Where am I? Oh God, what's happened to me? Mother, Father, did you heal me? Why can't I hear my own voice? Such a terrible hunger. I'm scared, Mother. Save me. Where did this rage come from? Where did this hunger come from? I am alive. I remember Father's hands, Mother's voice and name, my name. I am Yashka. I am 12 years old. I remember. I recovered. That means Father found a way. But why is this hunger so? Why am I so angry? And I cannot speak. Where am I? Father, Mother, where are you? What's happening to me? To my body? Why is there no arm? I am like a corpse from a grave. Horror. My godness. I don't want this. Help me. Horror. To run. To eat. To run from here. Rage. Such rage. Darkness all around. Terrible hunger. Striz and Moskva heard strange sounds coming from the basement, the entrance to which was right in the living room. Moskva looked at her husband. Rats? She grimaced with disgust. I don't want to die next to rats. Striz nodded and grabbed a flashlight to inspect the basement. He was already near the door when it suddenly flew open by itself, and they saw a corpse. Who is that? People, good people, help me. Why are they afraid of me? I want to eat. How richly their blood flows through their veins. I smell them. Fear. Terror. They are afraid of me. Hunger. Rage. Moskva, it's a child. That's a corpse. A damn zombie. He's kind of nervous, twitchy. All right, Moskva, back. To the car. The meteorite wasn't enough. Now there are zombies too. FCK? He's growling. Where is he going? Run. Striz. The corpse lunged at Moskva's husband and drove its bony fingers into his stomach. Striz wasn't an athletic guy, so that leap and the following of the zombie boy knocked him off his feet. He didn't even have time to say anything. He was hurled aside and rolled down the stairs. Striz. Moskva screamed. After finishing with the man, the corpse quickly turned toward the girl. What the hell? Moskva scrambled across the floor. The blaster was somewhere nearby. The zombie opened its jaws as if trying to say something or bite. Moskva made it. A shot. The severed arm of the corpse flew aside. The zombie shot past the girl, who managed to dodge. The zombie was left without arms. A short, decomposing body, held on its feet by some kind of magic and possessing wild strength and hunger. It lunged at Moskva again. Headbutt her. An awkward move, but lightning fast. The girl didn't expect it and dropped the blaster. And now the corpse knocked her down, pinned her with its infernal strength. Only now did Moskva panic hysterically. She kicked wildly, flailed her arms. But it was all wrong. All useless. The zombie viciously sank its teeth into her shoulder. Pain pierced her body. Moskva screamed. After the pain came a thought. Who cares? It's all over anyway. She looked into the black pit of the basement, from which her husband never emerged, then tried to push the devouring zombie away, but only had enough strength to turn her head toward the open window. Dawn was breaking. The tips of trees and the rocks were being painted in light tones. The end was near. Who cares? Moska thought and relaxed her whole body. The corpse devoured her, sinking its bloody jaws into her throat, then her shoulder, then her chest. She did not resist. It's all over. Dear God, what has happened? Why does this not obey me? What have I done? Why, Lord, why? I am only a boy. I didn't want this. Why am I still walking upon this earth? What kind of devilish sorcery is this? It forced me to eat, but I didn't want to. This body is no longer mine. Who were those unfortunate people? Why is there blood and desolation everywhere? I don't want to be here. I will just go out into the clearing. The light of the sun. It will wash everything away from me. Oh God, how I am. Mother, where are you? Father, why did you curse me? Where am I? Dawn, wondrous one, wash me with your grace. Cleanse my sins from me. Why can I still see the world around me? Am I cursed? The grass is the same as in the days of my infancy. The trees rise toward the sky. The mountains, my dear ones. Why am I still here? What is that in the sky? It roars. It falls. The sky is falling to the ground. Are these its fragments? Look, Mother, they ignite a fire. Even the sorcerous monster in which I dwell fears this flame. Everything is on fire. The trees are burning fast, the grass, the bushes. Mother, dear, even our house is burning, and the stones are still falling. I am afraid. I want to live, but let this sorcerous monster perish in the fire. What is that? What a bright light. The last living dead on earth out of habit turns its empty eye sockets toward the bright flash. Unknown magic allows the zombie to witness the explosion. This is grace. Dear God, this is your miracle. Mother, Father, look how beautiful it is. The catastrophe erases everything. The ghosts of the past, the technological present, and the future that will never come. The flash swallowed the entire world.